So I guess I'm not going to get away from this panel without telling a story I think Tom wants me to tell, which is what we do in the artist development space. And it's working really quite well for us. And we're actually focused on quite a few artists that we've picked basically at the end of last year that we're working on right now. Cam is one of those artists that we're focused on. And what we're doing is we're taking a playbook that we developed over the course of last year. So probably most folks don't know this, but Spotify was here last February with 120 people doing an offsite. And we went out to the Jack Daniel's distillery doing the obvious thing that folks do that come to visit this town. But when you have folks from Japan, it's pretty exciting. So the whole team was here from around the world. And we met a brand new artist named Sam Hunt. And he was with his manager, Brad. And he was about as enthusiastic as any artist we'd ever met. And he was quite unique in what he was doing. He was creating mixtapes, and he said to us, I want to work with you guys. And we just thought he was doing something truly interesting and unique. And we forged a relationship that night over way too much of the brown stuff. And we started working together. And over the course of 2014, from that moment we met, we invested pretty heavily in Sam. And we wanted to develop him on our platform and really demonstrate that there's a side of Spotify that's editorial. If you use the service, how many people use the service? Anyone? A few people? That's great. That editorial side of the service is what allows us to create our own radio-like experience, and it's the playlisting piece. And we started programming Sam Hunt's music that he was providing to us into those playlists and developing listeners, developing discovery, driving engagement, really just getting people invested in Sam as an artist. And we just wanted to keep feeding that interest. So anytime we started to see growth in his streaming levels, we kept coming back with other activations. So we wanted to get more content into the service. We wanted people to be able to meet Sam, so we provided other context, which is what you can do on a streaming platform. You can put spoken word type of content up that tells the story behind the music. So over the course of many months, we started to build an audience for Sam. And really, he was getting a lot of traction. Our users were responding extremely positively to him. And he, as an artist, was quite digitally native and understood how to work well in socials and create a feedback loop between the audience that he was building and our platform. And just over time, we just kept building, and the stories started to become very real, and he had traction. And at that point, Universal stepped in, and they started to get involved in the campaign, and collectively, the three different parties got together to really start to drive Sam. And if you follow the Sam Hunt story, I'll cut to the punchline, which is that that record, Montevallo's, become really quite successful. Now you're talking about a gold-selling artist that started off on a streaming platform. So you can see that these two things work really nicely together. And certainly in the case of radio, for a radio programmer, you could take the story that we were developing and learn that you've actually got a pre-qualified hit on your hands, because we've done all of the research with our users and learn that you can take out all of the risk and you can put a record on the air and it's going to go. The other thing that we demonstrated was that you could take Sam out of country. We put him in a bunch of our pop playlists. We put him in our global pop playlists, and we started crossing Sam records into pop before anyone knew that he could potentially be a pop artist. So it was a really fantastic and rewarding experience for us, and we took a bit of a victory lap at South by Southwest. We had Sam headline our Country Day that we held, Country and Americana Day, that we held at our house in Austin, and he, of course, knocked everybody out. So it's been a great ride with him, and we're replicating that with other artists. We have a playlist called Spotlight on Country. That's the name of the program. And there's a lot of artists that we're working with, and we're really excited about. We've invested in a lot of artists in this town, and the truth is, what we want to see is the music come to us, and we're aware of a lot of what's going on because Copeland's an amazing force down here. And what we look for is, what are our users responding to? When we see that traction, when we see that engagement, the data tells us that something's going on. There's no way to fake that, right? There's no way to fake genuine interest in a music consumer, and we have a lot of passionate music consumers, in fact, tens of millions of them. that are really excited about music and listening to tons of it. And those are the things that would get us really excited and get my team out of bed in the morning to come to work and to help tell artists' stories.
Heather, how do you get the social engagement for an artist to help be a part of that platform that, you know, ultimately Steve or folks in radio are going to see it, identify it, and say, hey, you know, there's something going on here?
That's a really good question. I think in the case of Sam, he had a very strong manager who was engaged with the digital side of things and helped build a lot of that traction. For a lot of the folks that have the major label, there's a support system outside of that. There's folks like Faith with Marbaloo here in town and what she does a lot with the CrowdSurf folks that can help generate some of that. But it's really about the artist's activity on those socials that do it and that authentic engagement.